Ride in style with an easy ride loan from Ariza. Enjoy the comfort and convenience of your own vehicle for work or play. You've got places to go, and we're gonna help you get there. Easy. That's why on June 22nd, we're hosting our Easy Ride Auto Show at Ariza's Car Park, Bruce Street. Speak to our professional loan officers, car dealers, and insurance brokers in one convenient location. Learn about our special offers on electric and fuel-efficient used and new vehicles. This is your opportunity to secure your Easy Ride loan and drive away in style.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
Yeah. Welcome to Monday on the ride. Happy Monday. How you guys doing? Welcome to the ride. Ah, boy. Akeem, how you doing? Lynn, Lydia, I see you. Blessed gal Taylor, how you do? It's a long time I didn't do a first up. First up, Best Gal Taylor, the first up. Good evening, right along. Thank you, Blessed Gal Taylor. Today, guys, we're going to talk. Yeah, let me talk. Have a conversation now. Let's have a conversation because for the past 24 hours, you guys have been chiming in on a topic that have been circulating on social media. However, it's not a new topic, though. It's something that we touched on before. But there was some news. There was some breaking news on that particular story. I'll tell you what it is in a second. So we understood, we still understand physical together. I think we have a better understanding today since the Attorney General came out and made some pronouncements. Right? Right, let me tell you what it is. So the allegation is that former Senator Sheldon Scott, then a senator, was issued a government issued phone, right? And as you know, it's a pool of devices. So it so happened that, and reported, and after investigative reported by Mr. Kem Jones, who is on the program with us today, that this particular cell phone, after he left his role as senator, he still continued to use that device. That among something at about $70,000 or so per year, as was reported then. We now found out today that in total, the bill that was used, the total that was used on the phone is over $115,000 in data, calls, whatever. It was used up. So the government paid for that. The taxpayers paid for that. So today there was some breaking development. Yesterday, actually, there was a breaking development. The former senator, who is also a social media presenter, was served with documents. But there are a lot of intricacies inside of the thing that we don't quite understand. So to help us break it down a bit, we did initially say that we'll bring in Mr. Michael Batiste, Mr. Django Thomas, and Kem Jones. But we can't find Michael. I called Michael, we can't find Michael. So probably he'll join us in a little bit. But today we're joined by friend and family of the Ride Along program, Mr. Kem Jones, who is the person, in fact, who broke the story, who did his investigation and broke that story, is now called Cellphone Gate. Also joining us, his first time on the program, Mr. Ian Django Thomas, who has a lot to say about this particular issue. So let's bring them on right now and let's have a conversation. And of course, guys, you are also as important to this conversation here. First, let's welcome the newcomer, the new face to the program. Django, welcome, my friend.
What's up, Junior?
Hey,
good man.
It took you so long to come on the ride, eh? That's not good.
Yeah, I was trying to mind my business for a very long time, but when things happen and I'm called, you know how to respond.
I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for coming on and sharing your point of view on this matter here. Kim, Wago.
I am fine, Junior. Plenty rain in my neck of the woods, and I think most people here in Grenada are extremely happy for the rain, and we hope that there will be no complaints thereafter from anyone regarding not having pipe-borne water. But for the time, I'm cool like Coolie Popoy.
Yeah, that.
And it's always a pleasure seeing Django. You know, you're always smooth.
Yeah.
It's a gentleman that I want to, at least follow in terms of his attire, his mannerism. He's just a decent young man.
Yeah, Django, I'm sure Django love to hear that. Eh? Django smiling from ear to ear. All right, so Kim, help us summarize this whole situation here, right? Involving Cellphone Gate. Take us back a bit and tell us a little bit, how did you get a hold of the document that is now in conversation here today? How did you get a hold of the cell phone documents?
Right. So thank you very much, Junior. I would not disclose how.
Okay.
But the information was out there, as we all know. And I want to thank whoever provided such.
Right.
I think in the last many years, that was one of the very big story that shook or rocked the NNP administration. And they gave some trouble initially, but then they were cornered by the general public and they had to come forward and give answers, right? But let me say this. Sheldon Scott, as we know, he is the main mouthpiece of the NNP. In fact, Keith Mitchell himself only recently appeared on a program of Sheldon Scott. Sheldon Scott was a senator and a parliamentary secretary for the government, during the NNP time in power. He was removed from such a position and he was employed with the New National Party, a political party. It's just like you have in the NDC, the National Democratic Congress, and you're having the NNP as a political party. So he was employed with the New National Party for a good period of time. It was discovered that he was still using that cell phone number that was assigned to him by government, right? Normally, when you are no longer a parliamentary secretary, when you're no longer, and Junior, can you just bear with me for a moment? I have a good friend who's outside of my space who I have to give something.
No problem. Go right ahead. So Django, let's chat with you a bit. Tell us your understanding as to what transpired.
Well, Junior, what transpired, I believe, and first and foremost, I would like to put on a disclaimer. I am not here to, make fun of anybody or to laugh at anybody when they're down.
Right.
But the truth about it is, when we're entrusted with state resources, we have to be very careful how we utilize it. You cannot be entrusted with, in this instance here, a cell phone, and on your own whims and fancy, you just decide without any care or caution that you're going to rack up a bill of 100,000, because this is unheard of in any part of the world. I've never heard any phone bill from any institution. Probably the School of Medicine probably might run the phone bill about $50,000 a month. So how it is an individual, one man, over a period of a short period, let's say about a year, rack up a phone bill for $100,000. So it's something that it's kind of baffling. The truth to it, to go back to give some context, when this thing just broke, Junior, nobody knew, but myself and a former senator with the NDC administration, we're good. We've made every attempt. We've contacted the DPP. We've contacted the Commissioner of Police. We've contacted CID. We went up to the fort to meet with the Commissioner of Police to get some resolve in that situation. And nobody wanted to touch it.
Why not?
Nobody in Grenada wanted to touch it. Because
Why
remember,
not?
Keith wasn't there.
Okay.
The opposition leader now was the Prime Minister at the time.
Right.
And everybody was scared. So we walked St. George's. We went to every institution that had some sort of linkage. We went to the office of the Ombudsman and all to see how we could get this thing as a case and let the guy pay back the money. But nobody wanted to touch it. You understand? So now with that change in administration, you see things starting to take place. And then I saw some of the comments on social media that we shouldn't address the matter. It's not a personal attack, I believe. I believe it's something that is in the line of accountability and transparency. If a gentleman could take from the state, because it's our money, to satisfy his own personal agenda, the state should deal with that. It's just simple.
Right. Okay. Kem, go ahead. You were talking about you procuring those documents.
So I do apologize for my exit there. I had to attend to something very important. So in continuing, I'm saying here that Sheldon Scott was a government senator and a parliamentary secretary. So he was working with government. And of course, he will be assigned a cell phone, a number, and, taxpayers will pay for that usage, data or calls, whatever, on that cell phone. But normally, if you are no longer a government senator, if you're no longer a parliamentary secretary, you would give it up. You would hand it in, right? So you would no longer use it.
Right. Stick up in there, Kem. Is it on him to hand it in, or is it for the PS and those in authority to take it away from him? Or
he's no longer working with government. So it's kind of common sense.
Okay.
If you're no longer working with government, then it's kind of common sense. Nobody has to come and take this thing away from you. You know that what you sign on to is that if you're no longer there, you must hand it in. It's like you no longer working with Ride Along. Ride Along, for whatever reason, some strange reason, the money that you normally collect every month is coming to your salary, but you're no longer working with Ride Along.
Right.
Why then do you collect that money? If you're honest, if you're sincere, if you're decent, you would then say, hey, you're still sending me that money. I no longer work with you. Please, can you take it back? Can you stop? Right? Because ultimately you would have to pay. It's like somebody, you go to an ATM machine and a whole pile of money start flowing into your account or there at that particular time, but it's not your money.
Right.
When the bank do their research and they realize that you got $5,000 or $2,000 more, they would ask you to return it. If you fail to return it, it's considered to be something illegal. I don't know if it's fraud or some kind of thing of that sort. And you would be brought to court and made to face the penalty. I'm simply saying this guy is a grown up, or as we say, a grown-ass man. And this is not obscene, but just to say that he's a hardback man. He should know that he's no longer a senator. He's no longer a government minister. And he ought to return such, if it's a phone or deceased from using such number. Remember, this guy was employed with a political party. You could imagine NNP in power as an administration, as a government, and somebody in the NDC having to use a cell phone attached or assigned to government. I mean, they would be in jail by now. But I'm saying all of that to say, this guy used that particular phone for almost 3 years. I mean, I don't want to talk about honesty and dishonesty here because I would have to use another word to describe this guy's conduct. I don't know if he's a born Grenadian, but definitely if you're a born Grenadian, if you're a patriotic Grenadian, you will never do that. I don't know where he's from. Whether he's from Trinidad, Tobago, Grenada, Carriacou, I don't know. But that's not my business. I am concerned about taxpayers' money. So when I unearthed the information regarding Sheldon Scott, and he was highlighted, don't bother with Keith Mitchell with his rubbish. All the other people, they were government employees. They were either ministers or parliamentary secretaries or some kind of employee advisor, some kind of thing there. But Sheldon Scott was the odd figure in all of this.
So that's what I wanted to find out from you, Kim. I know I want to take it kind of slow there. So what piqued your interest is that he no longer worked there, and his
taxpayers' money was still being spent to pay his bills.
Right.
Right. So I'm saying he was no longer an employee.
Was it the highest bill the highest phone number that was on that bill?
Well, let me tell you this. This thing is obvious,
Yeah.
Junior, the guy 1 month alone, his bill was $26,861.77. Another month was $22,840.87. Another month, $20,183.20. Look, I will not question whether a person will use their phone to watch pornography or to watch Junior George ride along. I would not question that. I don't know what you do with your phone. That's your private business. But I cannot fathom up to this point
Right.
what an individual could be doing with that phone unless that individual is serving the community. I don't know if it is a community hotspot. I don't know. I cannot say here. But what sparked my interest was the fact that Sheldon Scott, that same big mouth Rasta fella, I know no bad feelings to Rastas, because I know most Rastas are good people. That big mouth guy who could say all kind of thing about government, all kind of thing about everybody else. And, he was not working with government. And this cell phone bill, at least I had 3 months of bills. And I produced that evidence in the public domain to say, how is it that taxpayers, people who bossing their tail out, working from 8 to 4, from 7 to 5, from 9 to 8 and 9 in the night, taxpayers' money was going to pay this hardback man his bill for whatever he was doing. I don't know what he was doing. I will not sit on this program, Junior, and say the man was watching pornography. I would not say that. I don't have the evidence to substantiate the fact. But I'm saying all this to say, when the information was brought to light in the public domain, I broke the news. I broke this thing, right? Keith Mitchell took quite a while to come out and say, boy, I was embarrassed, he was ashamed, and so on and so forth. Even Sheldon Scott took a while before he come out and admit to the wrongdoing, But here it is. I thought Keith Mitchell, with all these millions, knowing that Sheldon Scott is out there speaking on their behalf many a times. And mind you, while I had a little doubt in my mind because I know how Keith Mitchell robbed the thing, there are so many soldiers who he abandoned in the field when they really needed him. And he will go to the funeral and speak as though he had loved them so much. But here it is. I thought this man will take some money out of his, right? At least the money that is not in any, bacchanal in New York, because I know there's some kind of legal thing out there. But anyways, I'm saying all of this. I thought the man would take some money out of his money and settle this thing. I thought this thing was settled already, But deep down, I know when Keith Mitchell goes around in these little shops and them poor NNP supporters will run and give him a Heineken or even run in the supermarket and buy a yellowtail wine and have him drink. But I'm saying that to say, the man don't easily spend his money on anything. So I don't expect him in real life to take his money and help this guy. This guy is in a deep water right now.
Yes.
And on many fronts, Junior, on many fronts, I am sorry for him. But deep down in my heart, He deserves every single thing at this point in time. Everything needs to go at him.
Right.
Because his mouth is too big.
Okay, can stick up in there. Django, why did the phone company, Digicel at this point in time, allow a bill to go up so high? Did they have any control, any quota?
In my humblest of opinions, I believe it was a request from the past administration to allow the bills to be that high. That's just my humble.
What do you mean?
Because you see, Junior, a government minister is someone that they would have to entertain a lot of different conversations from time to time. And we would give them allowance. They would have to talk, they would have to solve problems, they would have to look for solutions, they would have to communicate with the outside world and everything. So, but I believe it was a specific request from the former prime minister to allow the bills to run without any limit. Because I've listened to some of the conversations where he said, and as recent as today, that he personally spoke with the company to have a cap on the bills. But if that is the case, the company is a reputable company that has been around the world, started in England and so forth for years. They would have documentation to prove that. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't believe that this gentleman did anything of the sort. He allowed it because that was probably part of the fringe benefits for Mr. Scott to run his programs and to facilitate the calling programs that they would be having to attack and try to keep the NDC in the doghouse for as long as possible.
But those are allegations.
But I personally believe, in my humblest of opinions, I believe that it was allowed, especially Mr. Scott's phone bill, to run as high as it could. They won't be surprised that it was brought to the public.
Go to the right a bit. You cannot go out of the frame. Go to right. Yeah.
It's an old system I have.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. So you're right, dead center.
That's right.
Right. So you believe that it was something that was orchestrated? What benefit would it be for the administration to orchestrate something that, if it come out, that is actually the case?
Well, you see, what's supposed to happen ideally, they should have that confidentiality clause coming from the service provider. But in a small society like ours, there are things that could happen. Because, for example, when the money was sent to the former Tillman Thomas's bank account through one of the banks, the information was leaked to the public. So confidentiality in certain places, certain sectors here may be an issue, but I am certain that they did not expect that to be in the public. They didn't expect it to be in the public at all. That would have been a secret, and Mr. Scott would have run his programs. I don't know what, as Kem was saying, I'm not too sure what he was doing with the phone and the service, the data service. But I personally believe that it was well orchestrated to allow Sheldon to run free with the cell phone.
Right. You mentioned about what the former prime minister said. I remember about that was 2019. We did a press conference over there in Montreal, and I covered the press conference, and I got a chance to ask the prime minister at the time. They said same question about what transpired. This was his response. Let's take a look. A look and a listen.
A question about use of phone. The answer to your question: it is not a practice. It is fundamentally wrong. So it is not supposed to be allowed. And it's not just ministers. You have public servants who left the public service with a phone and still have it. Well, clearly that can't be right. You have people who are maybe in the diplomatic circles who have left the diplomatic circles and still carrying a diplomatic passport. And in some cases, I'm not sure they might be using it. I'm talking very openly here. So, but the problem is this. Through successive governments, not just this government, this has happened in the past. Many of these things have happened. The question you ask yourself, how is this how did it happen? And why is it continue to happen? That's the issue. And we have to be honest with ourselves. And one thing you know about me, I never duck my responsibility as Prime Minister. Something happens in government that I'm the first person that take blame is me, because I'm the head. I'm not like certain people or other leaders where they pass the blame on everybody else. Accept your role and then look for the other people that may have been a mistake too. But let me tell you this. The accounting, so the government must take responsibility. The leadership of the NNP, the leadership of the NDC should, because it happened a lot on the NDC where thousands of dollars have been spent on people who should not have been, bills that should not be paid.
All right, let's stop it. Let's pin it right there, because there were allegations that the former administration before the NNP did the same exact thing as alleged here. Do we know anything about that? Hold on, Django. Let me turn you. Sorry, Django. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Django.
personally, you see, I don't have that information. If it happened, the former prime minister, the one who was just speaking, had all the responsibility to present the facts. Don't just speak because you see the truth about it, Junior. Knowing the individual that we just listened to, and how this gentleman twists the truth and makes it sound as if he's such a saint and a decent human being. Because look, for example, this same situation here. The former prime minister still acknowledged that he was the one to break the information, and we all know it's not the truth. Because I remember this Sunday at around probably 2 p.m., I received a call from the same Kem Jones here with the information, and that was about a week and a half prior to the prime minister making a statement. So he's not totally truthful with things that are of national interest. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the truth that it happened under the NDC, which it is possible. I don't know. But we can't take his words at face value. We have to get the evidence. You have to present the evidence if that is the case for me to believe what he's saying.
Kem, do you know anything about that?
Well, you see, Junior, I know Keith Mitchell personally. He is a pathological liar. He concocts stories in such a way that the unsuspecting will be fooled.
And you have to say, in your opinion, because
No, not in my opinion. This is a fact.
There are people that don't believe that he's a
Keith Claudius Mitchell is a pathological liar.
In your
He's
opinion.
a chronic liar. And I'm not, no, that's a fact.
Okay.
I can present humping occasions where he lied to the Grenadian public. But I'm saying this to say, Junior, and I have no fear, you will not get a lawsuit with that because there is enough evidence to prove that over 23 years and a half, there's enough to pull and put on the table. But hear this. I am saying all of this to say, if Keith Mitchell knew of anybody within NDC who did a similar thing, I don't think they would have gotten served by a bailiff. Maybe the police would have gone for them and it would have been a big showdown. Because remember, this guy don't forget anything. He goes after you in my belief, in my opinion, for any little thing. Remember me? I was served on umpteen occasions pre-action letters for expressing my own, opinion or my own views and things. But nevertheless, I am saying the guy tried to make himself look good because he was outside. He was in the diaspora. Remember, this was in Canada, right? He was forced. He was asked that question, forced to answer such a question. The fact is, Sheldon Scott was not employed at the time with the government of Grenada.
Facts.
He was employed with the new National Party.
Facts.
The new National Party should have at least saw it necessary to provide him with a phone, with credit or with a plan. And mind you, I said on my program some years ago, if this guy was actually paying a monthly bill for a plan, it would not go beyond $100 per month. But nevertheless, they should have seen it necessary to provide him with a cell phone and with a plan so that he can do his work, right? But here it is. When that was revealed to the public, the amount of money and so on, what should have happened? This guy should have been hauled in and asked to pay. But they told us, well, they're going to meet with Digicel, they're going to meet with this one, and they're going to investigate, and they're going to... At the end of the day, we are 2 years, NDC, 2 years into power. This thing happened way before. When it was 2019, somewhere down there?
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, somewhere down there. The NNP was still in power. The election was in 2022. I am simply saying they did nothing. It took this administration to investigate thoroughly and to serve this guy from the Attorney General's chamber a pre-action letter which says I want you to pay because this is what you owe. We are giving you 7 days to submit your proposal, how you go about paying, and let us take it from there. The NDC did so. I am asking Keith Mitchell now, who appeared on this guy's program, and it's really the NNP flagship program. So deep in his kitty, the 19 million or so he boasts of having, and find that money and pay it for Sheldon Scott. In fact, there are people out there now who looking, who watching and saying, but wait, you believe they go start some GoFundMe or some pledge program? Well, only Kem Jones are doing pledge program in Grenada, and the NNP criticize it, they condemn it, but now they want to do a similar thing. What I'm saying is to say, this guy has very little. This guy is poor. Sheldon Scott is poor and scrunty. He's poor and he's vulnerable. And I'm calling on Keith Mitchell at this time of crisis on the part of this individual to deep in his pockets and help him pay up the money for him, because he's stressed out, in my belief. I have seen the guy in recent times and he's depressed, in my belief. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor, but this guy's depressed and stressed out, in my belief. He needs help.
Right.
Keith Mitchell, this is the time for you to come to the aid of this guy. This guy needs help.
Right.
His mouth, Junior, is the biggest mouth still out there. The biggest mouth. Taxpayers paid your cell phone bill for almost 3 years. You are not working with government of Grenada. Why did you then saw it fit or okay to have taxpayers' money pay your bill and you're all cool with that? That's not in Trinidad. That's in Grenada. You got to pay up and pay up now. You have 90 days. Sheldon Scott, you have 90 days to pay $156,937.62. Find the money wherever you have to find it and pay up, right? I think that is really the call. Pay up the money. That's taxpayers' money. Because remember, Junior, that's money that was already paid, meaning the $115,393.32. That was already paid by taxpayers. That's money that taxpayers already paid for the man, for his bills.
But Kem, I want to touch on the numbers, right? Because I don't understand the numbers. Because I remember when you put out the numbers, it was a far higher number when you sum it up than the number that was proposed today. But okay, I'll get back to that. Let's go through a bit the response, because there was additional response by the former Prime Minister. Check it out.
It has happened and it continues to happen. We have to cut the neck of this fast. Now, so I accept my role. The government has to accept the role. The Ministry of Public Utilities, who is responsible for the question of telephone, for example, have to accept responsibility. But the question is, who is the accounting officer in the government? It's not the politician. It is the... No, my friend. No, my friend. I just said I accept my role as leader for what has happened. So I have not ducked responsibility, my brother. I want to make it very clear. But the government minister does not touch money in the public service. The public servant is the accounting officer in the...
Right. So let's exponent on that a little bit. Django, the government minister don't touch money. So the onus is on the public, our workers there to ensure that things run smoothly. How factual is that information?
Yes. The guy is actually right, But let me tell you what he's not saying. He's not saying that the influence of the politician would make the public worker do what the politician wants them to do. And that is what he has been doing for the longest while. You notice he twists himself out of the scenario and tried to put the blame on the accounting officer. Now tell me something. You're the prime minister of a country. We know your past. We know how heavy-handed you could be. You come to the PS, you call the PS on the phone and say, listen to me, allow that. This is my boy. Don't worry that bill, we go sort out that. You tell me that ain't gonna happen dealing with Keith? You telling me that Keith ain't gonna pick up his phone and allow that bill to run? And it's not a 1 month situation, not a 2 month situation. It's a 3 year situation. And he know fully well that is the same number Sheldon had when Sheldon was a senator, calling him. That is the same number that would call him when Sheldon wants him on his program. Nothing changed. The gentleman knew fully well that this phone bill was being paid by the state. That is my opinion. And he allowed it. He had his hand in it from the top to the bottom because he could manipulate the system. He has manipulated the system. He has his controls over these people. Junior, the dangers of this is when public servants do not take their responsibility seriously and they allow politicians to manipulate them. Because he took himself out as a politician and he put that person or that person's responsible in front to take all the responsibility. All he claimed was, I, as the Prime Minister, I took some level of responsibility, but if it reaches a situation where the bills have to be paid back from the pocket of an individual, it's not his pocket. He ain't spending $1 for that bill. The person that allowed it, and the person that got the call and allowed it to happen, cannot go and say he told them to, because that was not their responsibility. They do not account directly to him, because in the public service, there's a chain of command that you follow. There are people that you report to. He has supreme control over everybody, but there's a line that you walk. So that person not supposed to directly channel any conversation to him, but he could come to them and allow them to do things. You understand the problem? And that is where the dangers of this governance system is. That is the dangers of the governance system. But I keep in my position on that. I believe totally this gentleman knew exactly what he was doing. He allowed this, because that is not an accident. This has never happened before. It has never happened since. How the players, look at the relationship of the players, look at the program that was run by the gentleman that is now in question. Look at the relationship he has with the former Prime Minister. So it is a well-orchestrated something. I don't care what they say. Keith knew exactly what Sheldon was doing and he allowed it to happen.
Right, and that's your allegations. Let's go forward and check out for the response by the former Prime Minister.
Public service. We have to get it. If an inquiry is held on any government department in the country,
Listen,
the person that has to go and give account for what happens is not the politician, you know. It is the permanent secretary and the accounting officers. And I always keep telling public servants, you are the responsible. If you see a minister doing something, you have a right, even if it's the Prime Minister, to put it, stop it, or expose him or her. Don't be afraid, they can't do anything.
Kem?
Right, so Junior, let me state here when I said a while ago that I believe the individual is stressed and depressed. I am not a physician. So based on my observation, I can say to you that I believe Sheldon Scott is stressed out and depressed. So that's based on I have no medical training. So as a result, I'm not able to tell you for a fact that he is. I want to say here, I'm accustomed to Keith Mitchell and his rhetoric. Them thing ain't fooling me. I want the Grenadian people to know that Sheldon Scott was not employed with the government of Grenada at the time. And that your taxpayers' money, the money that could have gone to fix a piece of road, a piece of drain, to repair the medical station, to repair the police station in Grenville, the money that could have gone to helping some, person in your community in need, that money went towards paying Sheldon Scott's bill, in my belief, taxpayers' money, and he was employed with the New National Party, a political party. And any reasonable person, any patriotic Grenadian would know that if you're using a cell phone and you call in, you have data, it means somebody must be paying the bill every month. If it is not you, it's somebody else. And if you're honest, if you don't know, for some strange reason, every month somebody sends, data or money or whatever, they pay your bill, you still, as an honest person, will investigate to find out who is this good person.
Right.
Who is this Samaritan? Who is this decent person to send me 20-something thousand, $22,840.87, and that money could easily buy a vehicle. And if you put three of them together, you can buy a truck or maybe a bus. $26,861.77, $20,183.20. Who is this good person to do that? Right? But it's the same number that was assigned to you by government. So common sense will tell anybody. And the mere fact that he admitted to wrongdoing, admitted to using this phone, admitted to calling and doing all what he did there, and say, well, I want to pay. I want to meet with you. Let us sit and come up with some kind of formula, some kind of payment arrangement. Hello? The man knew that it was government that was paying. He knew that it was taxpayers' money. Well, at least in his admission, in my humble view and opinion. I am simply saying, I thought by then this guy would pay. Junior, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, we're in 2024. How many years? Almost 5 to 6 years. You telling me that this guy have not paid 1 cent? Big mouth Sheldon Scott? That old tomcat. I am saying all of this to say, my brother, after 5, 6 years, the man didn't pay a cent. Something has to be fundamentally wrong. And I'm calling again on Keith Mitchell. In fact, I called on him in the past to say, well, you have $19 million, open a pig pen and create 5 jobs. I'm calling on Keith Mitchell to pay the money for Sheldon Scott. Deep in the kitty and pay the money for him because he's on program, bellowing, screaming, bawling, as though he's in labor against every good thing that happened in this country, condemning every single thing that happened good in this country, in my belief, based on what I've heard on his programs. I am saying, Keith Mitchell, this is the time for you to stand up for your soldier, because historically, many soldiers around you gone down and they were in need, and you did not come to their aid, in my belief. Demonstrate it now. Go in that million, the millions and millions, and pay it for him. I would love to see that.
Right. So, guys, we want to open up the phone lines right now. We want to get your view on it. Again, it's a global conversation. There are people that are very passionate about this, and we did attempt to get the other side of it. People who would have, of course, have some sort of reason or idea of why this would happen, but the 2 other individuals declined. And we did, in fact, put a call out to Mr. Michael Batiste, not saying that he is in support of it. We have not yet gotten a chance to reach Mr. Michael Batiste, but the line is still open. If ever he comes in, we'll pull him in, all right? So we welcome Mr. Michael Batiste. So we open the phone lines here for anyone that wants to contribute to the conversation. The number that you call on the screen, 718-701-5720. Django, you have something to say, or I could play a piece of the video so we comment again?
Play the video.
Right, let's go.
We'll comment on the call.
Okay.
No politician can touch you for doing your work in protecting the taxpayers, because he would be a dead politician when it goes out there. But you don't say because the person is close to the prime minister or close to the minister, you don't do it. Wrong is wrong, no matter who doing it. So I'm saying that's another area of weakness. So I've accepted the government leadership, the political leadership role in solving that problem. And while I'm here, aggressive action is taken. What came out is now taking place. And even while I'm here, the political directorate is dealing with that issue, calling in people and ensuring that we cut the neck of this thing. So I've accepted a leadership role, a political role. I now tell you the public servants must take responsibility also. They can't just say, well, this and that. That's their responsibility. But the third one, we have had a contract with the public, with the service providers, Digicel in this case, where we sat with them and agree on that there's a limit that you should not allow. So we want to know, how come somebody, not those in government alone, somebody who is not in government, his bill could be running thousands of dollars, when in fact we're supposed to have a max. So why didn't you report it? Something.
All right. That's another question that I had on this. Why did Digicel allow for this bill to go so high? So I got a chance to speak to someone, and I was of the opinion from after I spoke to this individual who worked at Digicel that it's pooled. It's a pool system. Is it Digicel's fault for allowing this to happen? What's your take, Kem?
Well, Junior, do you believe Keith Mitchell?
I'm just asking the question.
No, but I want to ask you a very simple. Do you believe Keith Mitchell, what he just said?
Kem, I'm just asking the question.
All right, because I mean, when we were in school, they taught us that the cow jump over the moon. I mean, maybe you believe in that, but here it is. I am simply saying here, Junior, you had a number of people as part of that plan, right? I mean, a whole list. I have it right on my computer here.
Right.
And you had Sheldon Scott, who was not a government employee.
Yes.
And that's the crux of the matter. That's the important thing here. You know? If Sheldon Scott was an employee of the government of Grenada, while me and you could have gone out and say, oh God, it's too much high and too much of money, they would say, well, the man doing government work.
Right.
But the man was not doing government work. At the time when this thing broke, he was employed with a political party doing political work. You understand the point? So while it's a pool, it's a plan, and you're allotted a certain amount, and if they didn't use it, you could use it, and you could this, and you, but the charges will still go up.
Right.
There will be a cost to it. But my question is, what really can one do to cause a bill to reach in the amount of $26,800 plus dollars? What really can one do on their phone? This money, Junior, can easily repair a poor person wooden house in Grand Roy, in River Sally, in Mount Hon, in Molineux, in Happy Hill, in Chantimel, in Guave. This money could repair it. This could give you all the windows you need, Junior. Move from louvers to push up to, what you call it, glass windows from shelters, not shelter, St. Lou who doing the windows. It could give you all the doors, right? Your room door, your front door, your kitchen door. This is a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, Kem, you know what they say now, you know? Talk is not cheap, okay? Talk is not cheap.
Yeah, but what could you possibly be doing? I mean, Django, you're more tech savvy than your humble servant, but I am still in awe. What could this guy have been doing, using? What? I don't understand. How? Right. That kind of money?
We have a call on the line. Let's take that call. I'll probably call and may have an insight on it. Caller, you're live. Where are you calling us from?
Calling from Grenada.
Grenada, go right ahead.
What I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
I think the both party is at fault because as a company, you're working in a company and a businessman like yourself, you show that company phone is company phone and there is things that you could do and there's things that you cannot do. Then again, where is the accountant in the government? Why did Digicel allow this bill to go on and on and on? Right? Is there not an accountant in Digicel? Is there not an accountant in the government office? Because these things are supposed to be a monthly paying thing. So the first month, second month, third month, and you go on and on and on. We're not dealing with little school children here. We're dealing with adults, grown adults in high places. And if this situation been started from since 2016 to now, these people not serious. Probably if I was a poor person like myself, probably they crucify me already. There is more to this story than in the eye. Because what could one person do with a cell phone unless you're running a pawn free, unless you're running a call center? This is not normal. This is house and land. We're talking about cash money. This money is, you could build a house, you could buy a piece of land and still send your children to private school. It's time for somebody to get down to the bottom of it. And I think if the guy himself, Scott, was working under the previous government and this thing happened, then they all should come together and help him pay the money. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, caller. Thank you so much. We got another call. Let's take that call and then we will take Django's response on that. Caller, live, where are you calling us from?
Hi, Junior. Good evening. Good evening to everyone. I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. Go right ahead.
How I look at this situation, I think there was not checks and balances. When I used to be involved in NGOs, hold on, I'm on the phone. When I used to be involved in NGO work back home,
Right.
we used to have checks and balances, right? At that time, we used to deal with cable and wireless. And our bill, if we didn't pay our bill on time by the end of the month, they would cut us off or suspend it one way. So what I'm saying is, and on one of the things we used to do, we used to have any worker, outreach person, or anybody using company phone, mobile or whatever to do work, they had to report, it had to be documented, your number of calls, where you called and what is for, number of clients you reached and XYZ, and there must be checks and balances. So how I look at it, the fact that those calls went up exceedingly to over $100,000 is preposterous. That means it's a combination of things that happened and a combination of failings. And it's not, I look at it that there is not one entity to be blamed, but a combination of systems that failed. And I also hold Digicel accountable because they should, even if you have a contract, an agreement with the government of the day or whoever it is, you should ensure that at the end of the month or the end of the quarter, if the bill is not paid, they should be alerted that this XYZ is going up exceedingly too high. So something went wrong somewhere. Something definitely went wrong somewhere.
Right.
And as I see it now, as Kem said, it's how many years now? 5, 6 years going. That should have been addressed already. That should have been addressed. And Sheldon needs to be held accountable and he needs to pay the damn money. Thank you so much, Junior.
All right, thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Django, what says you?
You watch. I wouldn't necessarily blame Digicel, because remember, Digicel is a business.
Right.
And business goes into business to make money. So if this bill is being paid month after month after month after month after month, Digicel is getting their benefits. They wouldn't say, stop paying me because you're using my service.
But what if there was a cap set? What if there was a cap set? Do we know if the government had a cap? And did you
Yeah, if there was a cap, and then it went above the cap, then, but we're still not certain there was a cap because the former prime minister claimed that there was a cap and he can't present. But as a business entity, you're in business to make money. You opening your doors, the more money coming, the more money you want. So you can't blame the Digicel. You have to blame the gentleman that has took the device and abused the state resources to satisfy his personal benefits. The only person that's supposed to take responsibility here is Sheldon Scott and the New National Party, because he was pushing the agenda of the New National Party from the taxpayers' dollar. So it's two people have to pay this bill, and two people have to be held accountable: Sheldon Scott and the New National Party, because he was doing their job on the state's cell phone. Yeah, nothing to do with Digicel. Digicel glad for the money. Furthermore, Digicel probably wanted the bill to be $100,000 a month, so they could swap the cell phone.
Yeah. Got another call on the line. Caller, where are you calling us from?
Hi, good afternoon. Calling from Canada.
Grenada, go right ahead.
Digicel for what happened with cell phone. To me, I think Digicel is wrong because of what is under offer. I think Digicel have like a green light from somebody. Because even if you have a house phone and you don't pay for 1 month, they cut you off. But he have the phone for us, Kem say, for 3 years, $20-something thousand a month, and Digicel is not cutting off the phone. I think they have some green light somewhere one was going for that phone to stay in service. I think that. I don't know Digicel. And Kit Mitchell is, on my belief, Kit Mitchell have some hand in it, but he dodging the ball. He playing real dodgeball because I look at the video that he was showing, and he's taking out himself, and he's trying to put somebody else in the fire. This cell phone was going on because somebody gave some right somewhere. That's on my belief. That's what I think. That's why this cell phone go on for so long, and even money, and it's still going on without cutting off. is some green light coming out from somebody for Digicel to keep that phone in service. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
On my
caller.
bill, that's what.
Thank you so much. Someone just sent me this here, and they're saying that we need to clarify this to the public, that Digicel wasn't owed, right? The government was paying a monthly bill for Sheldon after he left the Senate. So it's not a case that the company wasn't paid. The company was, in fact, paid straight through. They wasn't owed whatsoever. They wanted to clarify that fact. Kim? What's
Yes,
your...
I wanted to make that very said point. In fact, when I broke the story, I made it very clear that a check with reference number 1002373744463 was paid in the amount of $120,912.99 for that particular month. In full, it was paid. And then I made reference further to the next check that was paid in the amount of, let me get it here, check reference number 10023768050004, EC company approved write-off, and then it comes back to say reference number paid as a check 10023785333512. Thank you. It was paid $111,108.45. And then you have another check. That's just 3 bills that I exposed. So it was paid in full. The other one bearing the reference number 2383238320418. Thank you. $129,874.85. So in other words, all the bills were paid.
Right.
And they were paid by taxpayers. So Digicel cannot be blamed because it is not Digicel's responsibility to do anything there than to collect their money every month. And they were being paid and collecting the money every month. Digicel holds no responsibility whatsoever. The mere fact that the bill was allowed to go so high, it means that they were allowed to based on the agreement between Digicel and the government.
We just got some, I'm getting this information deep inside of the belly of the operation. As we speak here, people are reaching out to me. They say that the cap was not to cut off. The cap were a total amount of minutes in the data plan. And if you go over that, you pay as you go then. So it wasn't that they did have a cap.
So why Junior, did these people didn't come out when the story broke and say such a thing?
Right.
Why all of a sudden we have experts saying that there was a cap and didn't have a cap, right? Yeah. We need to see the agreement. All this talk about cap and who in a cap and who ball plated. I am simply saying, Junior, the bills were paid, and the mere fact that the bills were paid and it was so high, it means that there was an agreement between Digicel and the government of Grenada. So there was the company itself is not in the wrong. The people who are using the pool and the plan and whatever, they used it and they had to pay for the service, and the government every month were actually paying for the service. But let us not move away from the responsibility of a person with a cell phone and with a plan. Sheldon Scott is not Zoe or Zeli, 2 years and 6 years old. Sheldon Scott is a hardback man who served as a senator, a government senator, and as a parliamentary secretary. He's like a junior minister instead of the Ministry of Youth. We're not talking about some little, dunce on the side of the road. I expect better from him. But nevertheless, this guy should know. Let me repeat. Sheldon Scott should know that if you have a phone, and you have calls being made and data being used or utilized, somebody has to pay for it. And if the money was not coming from his pocket to pay for it, somebody else was paying for it. And it was a number assigned to government. It's not a number that it's just washy thing. Assigned to government, that is a number he was using when he was in government as junior minister or parliamentary secretary or as a government senator. So you telling me that that hardback man they call Sheldon Scott didn't know that somebody was paid his bill every month. But anyways, he admitted to the wrongdoing. I am simply saying, let us not move that Digicel need to be responsible for what? They were running a business and they were collecting the money. They have no responsibility to find out who calling who watching this and watching that in the night. They pay at the end of the month, the client. The client was paying, the customer was paying every single month on time. I am saying the responsibility, the buck stops with Sheldon Scott. All this talk about who in this and who is that. Junior Judge, if you using a cell phone now and you ain't paying the bill, go and find out who paying the bill. Because you may end up like Sheldon Scott and it may solve your reaction letter.
Let's go back to the phone line, Kim. And I'm paying my phone bill, I'm paying it just so everybody know.
That's important.
That's important. Caller, you like where you're calling us from?
I'm calling from Grenada.
Grenada, go right ahead.
Okay. I just want to add my little 2 pence to the situation. I'm a former public officer, and I was entitled to telephone based on my duty. Now, with the telephone, the cell phone allowances, the public officer or the person who had the phone, they were not really responsible for paying the phone. But there was a ceiling based on different job title that people held at the time. But based on the information that is being disseminated there,
right,
according to what Kim's saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
If all these monies were paid after the individual was out of office, then public officers not responsible for the payment. Some who at the top normally makes the decision as to how much money is allocated to different person or different ministries as it relates to payment. The question is, I asked the same question Kim asking.
Mm-hmm.
If the individual who was the beneficiary of the phone service, why is it that the person did not seek to find out who was paying the bill?
Mm-hmm.
The person has a responsibility to find out who is paying this bill and is giving me all this data. If 20-something thousand and 30-something thousand so was paid to the service provider, the service provider cannot and shouldn't be blamed for the money they receive because they have a business. And the business is to make a profit. So I believe a proper investigation need to be carried out, and you will see exactly who involved in this telephone scandal. It is very, very sad as a nation that some people, they don't even have toilet and running water in their house, but other persons living in luxury on taxpayers' money. And you do not have to have, even if you have a cat, you seize a cat, you could dress it up as much as you want, it is still a cat. So that's my contribution.
Thank you so much, caller, for your contribution there. Let's go back to the video tape and check out. There was a lot more that was said. Let's check it out.
Or stop it because we have a contract with you. So what I have done here tonight is to share the blame around for the problem. And I'm saying, in the end, the taxpayers are the ones that lose. And all of us must do something about it urgently. So this is the situation. It pained me. And I said already, because one day, and you know how it came about, how the information came out? It is me, Somebody gave me a wire. So I went in there. Said, tell me, I want a copy of the bills that government paying. That is when this thing came out, If I did not take steps, this thing would never come out. And every day the taxpayers. But why should be Prime Minister? I should not be in this. And don't look at telephone bills. I don't know what telephone bills come to the government. I should have time to look at bills. You run in a country, you're traveling here, you're doing this. You have the Ministry of Finance to run, you have this to run, and you have to look at telephone bills at the end of the month? Well, my God, come on. Nah, this doesn't make any sense. So I'm saying that this is just a symptom of the problem. Now, if you left the government service and you're no longer government, what you doing? You know you have a phone, you're using it. You know the government paying. How could you sit there and accept that? You must have a conscience.
Kem?
Well, that's the same man that Keith Mitchell went on a program only recently and, let go his diatribe. So I'm not surprised. I mean, he spoke there about having a conscience, Keith Mitchell. I believe rat eat out yours. The mere fact that you could go on a program and sit with this guy and chit-chat with him and talk all kind of stuff. I mean, you worse than him. I believe so. But here it is. Keith Mitchell, all I can say to you, thank God Grenadians voted in the last election to get rid of you, your party, and change the government. I think we are better off as a nation, as a people. Because here it is. I cannot fathom or understand for a moment how Keith, as political leader of the NNP, because don't forget, Sheldon Scott was employed with the new National Party, of which Keith Mitchell, let's say whatever character he was playing there, that same person, the same voice, right? He was the political leader, and I think he's still the political leader because I know they have a little fighting, and well, not like a big fighting in the NNP. So I know who is who. There's serious instability in the NNP, real fighting there. I don't know if Peter is the leader. Django, who's the leader in NNP? Or Emily now? They're melee there. I don't know who is the leader of the NNP. But I'm saying this. Sheldon Scott was employed, with the new National Party, of which Keith Mitchell was the political leader and maybe still the political leader. I don't know. But here it is. You telling me that Keith didn't know? But here it is. Even if you didn't know, you don't think that Sheldon Scott at least should have known? And if he knew, why 3 years, almost 3 years? If Kem Jones, I know Warren Keith with his nonsense, right? If you're taking cheese in the fridge, you ain't gonna say you're taking cheese in the fridge. You go just take it and eat it. And then if they get to find out, then they say, oh, why are you taking cheese in the fridge? Anyways, I broke the story. And it took them days to respond after public pressure. Because mind you, a lot of the folks in the media, they try to cover the story. But the programs that I run, they are so huge that they are more than some of those mainstream media programs. And people started calling and saying, but how is that possible? And then Keith Mitchell was in Canada and he had to respond. And then I think Clarice came out and who came out thereafter. I am simply saying, Junior, if you are a patriotic Grenadian, if you are a born and bred Grenadian, if you are born and bred Grenadian, you would never do this to Grenada. You would never do this to Grenada. But this guy is on a program. I don't know if he was born here, or if he's from here, if he's from Trinidad, Barbados, wherever. I don't know. I'm okay. I am simply saying, Junior, this guy believes that he has the authority to be on a program speaking and criticizing everybody, condemning everybody. He has some of the nastiest things to say about Grenadians, born and bred Grenadians who are serving their country. And this guy knows that this thing is right there before him. Let me tell you this. I think the government was very lenient. I think the government was very lenient with this guy. I thought they would have dragged this guy in and put him maybe in the St. Paul's police station or South St. George police station and interrogate him for quite a while, because I know he would cry. He's a coward. But nevertheless, taxpayers' money is involved. This guy, in fact, I think they give him a sweet deal. So let us see his response in the coming, 7 days? They served him a day or two ago. Let us see his response. And I am calling again on Keith Mitchell. You have the money, right? And it's your damn money, as you said sometime back when you came from Montmaurice in Switzerland. I am saying to you, it's a good opportunity to show that you're going to stand up for these kind of people. because Sheldon Scott, in my belief, is poor and vulnerable, and he loves to talk about poor and vulnerable. He's poor and vulnerable in my belief. Help him out.
Right.
I understand, Junior, may I say, I understand that there is this GoFundMe page that they set up. Whoever set it up, some NNP goon, zygote, or sycophant, or pundit, or surrogate, they set up this GoFundMe begging for money to help pay. You know, it's just sad. It is sad, sad, sad.
Right. Let's go back to the phone line. You got a call on line. Caller, you're live. Where are you calling us from?
Good evening. I'm calling from Grenada.
Grenada, go right ahead.
Okay, listening to the program, listening to the experiment, saying to take responsibility. This man
Caller,
said
I have one request. If you're on speakerphone, could you take it off a speakerphone? Because we're not hearing you very, very clearly. Just take it off a speakerphone if you.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This man said he's a mathematician. So you mean to say that he not revising the accounts on a day-to-day or a monthly transaction to know that the bill is high? Won't say, well, your bill, why is your bill high or whatever? I don't believe it at all because he know exactly what was going on. And I don't believe it's the cell phone alone they used to abuse. I used to watch some of them going for gas and to see how they used to abuse this gas. So you have in your mind what else they used to abuse taxpayer money. Let them pay the money. Let them set an example out of somebody. Taxpayers working too hard and then food. We cannot get no responsibility and accountability of our taxpaying money. Good night.
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much. I want to play back.
No, Junior, before you go back to Sheldon, the caller made a very, 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 very good point, a valuable point.
Mm-hmm.
She referenced the gas. Remember, I broke that story also, you know.
Yeah.
When I presented in the public domain that the ministers of government under the NNP administration, they were going in the central police station on the Carenage and taking gas at different intervals with different vehicles. In fact, some of the ministers, they jig before coming out and admit to that. Then they say, well, they have a different policy now and all kind of stuff of that sort. But I requested of the NDC administration to make this thing public. Let the public know how much money per day or per week or per month each of them amass or accumulated, because here why it is important. The NDC came into power and they changed the policy where they say this going in the central police station on the Carenage and take gas when you want, how you want as a government minister. That thing done, if any gas are done. I shall give you $2,000 traveling allowance, and that money shall be used to pay your driver, buy your gas, and drive for yourself or do whatever you want. Do you know the same NNP came back and some of those union men and accused the NDC of taking $2,000 increase in their salary, when indeed during the NNP time they were assigned a driver paid by the state. In fact, their salary was almost $2,000 per month. They were also allowed to go in the central police station and take gas when they want. And in fact, I got the estimation, the estimated amount that came up to almost $2,000 per month. You're looking at $4,000 taxpayers' money was going to pay for these people under the NNP. NDC came and gave $2,000. So they take away all this old nastiness that was happening and assign every minister $2,000. You know what the NNP turned around and say? They took an increase in their salary. Some of them union people say they took an increase. In fact, I said, well, if they're saying they took an increase, the NDC should have left what was in place under NNP. And you could have heard them today. You could have heard them today saying that the NDC doing the same thing that the NNP was doing at the central police station on the Carenage. I am saying the caller made a very profound statement and must be recorded by all. The NDC ministers never received an increase of $2,000 on their salary. Instead, they were downgraded significantly because they're driving themselves. And those who have a driver, that same money is going towards paying the driver, and they're not getting anything additional.
Right. Thanks for that clarification, Kim. We got another call on the line. Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
Hi, good evening. I'm calling from Boston.
Boston, go right ahead.
So, Junior, I work with a group of doctors that provide me with a laptop and a company cell phone.
Right.
Now, if I give them a 2 weeks notice or if I get fired, by the end of the day, they will contact IT and restrict my access to the laptop and the cell phone. So I won't be able to enter the cell phone and the laptop, and I won't be able to make any calls. So, and I would have to bring in that, the two device and sign that I returned it in good condition. So how come that this man no longer worked for whoever and was allowed to keep the cell phone, and no one noticed that he didn't return his cell phone? Who is keeping track of who has what cell phone and what number is attached to that person?
Yeah, I think Django.
It makes no sense to me.
I think Django may have a point of view on that. Django?
This thing was deliberate, Junior. We going around in circles. The cell phone was afforded to Mr. Scott by the former administration. There is no if or but about it. The reality is they allowed him to continue to using it and try to hide it, because you see the bill comes as not as an individual bill, it comes as a lump. So They would hide his bill in that lump, and it wasn't supposed to be in the public domain at all. That was part of the fringe benefit for propagating his propaganda on his programs. So it's not no accident. It's not. NNP allowed it to happen. Keith allowed it to happen for Sheldon to have the phone using it and running up the bill. It's as simple as that.
Well, it's clear. Sheldon made an admission. This is Sheldon Scott admission on his radio program on the usage of the device. On mute? Yep.
That's what I will say. Dear PS Clark, I write to you regarding the matter of mobile account 1473-534-5113, currently in the name of the government of Grenada. I acknowledge that this number was assigned to me in May 2013 in my capacity as Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and has been in my possession up to the end of my parliamentary stint in 2016, June 2016. Said number remained in my possession after June 2016, and as such, I accept full liability and responsibility for all charges incurred on said account Digicel number 1473-534-5113 from July 2016 to the present date. That I have discontinued the use of this number, and I trust between myself and your ministry an amicable formula for the repayment and or payment of any sums paid or owed on said account can be reached within a reasonable time frame. Looking forward to your response on this matter soonest.
Right. So that So that was the admission. So he sent that letter to the PS. What action was taken then after that admission letter was sent to the PS? Do you know, Django?
Well, there are a lot of things I don't know, Junior, and especially a sensitive matter like that. Although it's in the public domain, letter sent to the PS from the individual may just be a letter sent to the PS. What's supposed to happen, ideally, is the letter sent with the first check for the payment. Yes, because he was asking for an amicable formula to come. So the PS supposed to respond to him to come together with that formula so they could start the repayment. But if in good intent, if the gentleman was a decent human being, what should have been done was the letter sent with the first payment showing goodwill and good faith in the transaction that he's about to endeavor into. But the truth is they wasn't intending to repay, because they really thought that NNP was going to be in power forever and that was going to get swept under the rug. They didn't expect to be out of power. They didn't expect the public to have that in the consumption. So it's kind of crazy for them, because look, for example, now they want to do some kind of GoFundMe. If 2016 the gentleman was acknowledging to wrongdoing, as Ken pointed out, in 2024, basically we got information in 2019 he was no longer a senator in 2016. So how it is, how it is we have this thing so long and $1 wasn't paid to the account, not from Sheldon, not from the New National Party, not from the former Prime Minister. So they wasn't intending to pay this thing at all. It's just a charade, and I'm happy that the DPP did what they had to do now, and the Attorney General's office and chambers did what they have to do. But what we must pay attention to is the gentleman may just decide to abscond his responsibility now. So how do we, as a state, get the payment? If Sheldon decided he went to Trinidad or whatever the case might be and disappear somewhere in the hills of Lavantil, how would we get that payment into the Treasury of Grenada? Would the NNP take responsibility? Would we go after the NNP? Would we go after Dr. Mitchell and the persons that allowed him to have access to those numbers and that type of accounts?
Right. I have to read this. This was just submitted to me by my producer, that we do say that the views expressed on this show is those of the guests and participant, and not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of the network and its affiliates. The content presented for purposes only and should be used, not taken as professional advice. Viewers' discretion is certainly advised. We are at a point right now where the Attorney General came out today and spoke and laid out the groundwork of what happens next. Based on your understanding, Kim, where do we go from here with this particular investigation?
Right. So you asked a question, Junior, earlier. No action was taken. In other words, no money was paid from that time to now. Not 1 cent was paid back. So letter was sent to P.S. Clark. Nothing was paid. In fact, the Attorney General said so categorically today. What she's saying is it is a letter, a demand, saying to the gentleman, we have investigated. We know you came forward and you said you will not cost taxpayers 1 cent. You're willing to pay, you're willing to this, you're willing to that. Here's an opportunity to do so. And you need to come in within 7 days to settle payments. If you can't pay all, then let us sit and set out some kind of schedule, some kind of arrangement to pay. Right? And then she went on to say, well, there could also be criminal proceedings because they investigated and they sent the file to the DPP. And in his own judgment, will so determine whether criminal proceedings will be, attached to all of this, and whether he will be arrested and charged criminally and brought to court. So again, the civil aspect is the Attorney General saying, look, you owe, come in and pay. We have investigated. This is what you owe, come in and pay with interest. Right?
Right.
So that's the Attorney General. But the criminal aspect to it, once the DPP deem it is, or it warrants some criminal action, meaning that they will charge you, arrest you and charge you and so on, criminally. You go to the kind of court and blah, 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 blah. Then that will be a next step. Let's see how it goes. But so far, he has 7 days to respond to the demand letter. If he fails to do so, then the Attorney General will take action against him.
Right.
And that means taking him to court and getting a judgment against him. And that would then add to the amount he's owing, because remember, there will be legal costs, right? There will be costs legally, and that will be more money that he has to pay. So it is in his best interest to work out some kind of payment plan within the 7 days. If he can't pay all, pay in portion. And once that is done, then the matter is dead civilly. But the criminal aspect of it, that is with the DPP. The DPP will determine whether he actually committed any criminal offense where that is concerned. Right.
We're running a little bit low on time. I know Kim has to run as well, but there also a event that's happening that we got to bring live as well. So let's just take this last segment right here. Django, what could we learn from all of this? What could government, the current administration, learn from all of this that transpired?
Remember, our mantra is transparency, and accountability. I do not foresee something of that nature happening with the National Democratic Congress, because first and foremost, the leader of the National Democratic Congress is not no cartoon man. He's not here to manipulate anybody. The gentleman has been proven to be a sincere individual, someone that has done well for himself in terms of business acumen and so forth. You can't have no bubble around the present prime minister name. So no bubble thing can take place with this administration. He would, and we have witnessed, he's been firm when it comes to anything that is not in keeping with his personal principles and the principles of the political organization. So we don't have that to worry about. But in going forward as public servants now have to understand their role within the public service, because they are the ones that are really the defenders of the public's interest. They're the ones that would implement the policies and well, not even implement, assist the politician in the design and implementation of the policies. So they are the ones that understand what could work, what cannot work, because they've been there. They're the technocrats, they understand. The politician would have all kind of pie in the sky ideas and try to put it into reality, but the public servants guide that reality. So they have to stand on principle. I'm not too certain if the president of the Public Workers Union could probably organize seminars to reiterate in the brains of the public servants. They have a role to defend the interests of the people of this country and not no political party. We've seen public servants in the past stand and do all sorts of foolishness for the NNP and Dr. Mitchell and this one and the other, and remain silent in times when they're supposed to be speaking out and so forth. This is an example, and this is a real life example where you should learn from. Do not allow the political directorate to manipulate you into making bad decisions. And I heard it clearly from the former prime minister. He ain't taking no responsibility. They can't touch him. He ain't go pay back no money. He's the accounting officer, which is a public servant that would be held responsible. And in that instance, the accounting officer, but other instances, public officers stand on principle. Do not allow the political directorate, especially Dr. Mitchell, because he ain't coming from no good place, to be honest with you. He would call in and pretend that he's your best friend because he wants information to make the NDC look bad.
Well, just a correction there, Django. He did say that he also assumed responsibility, but he's passing on responsibility.
The responsibility he assuming is to blame the public servants because it happened under his watch. So he would create that facade that, okay, well, let me pretend that I'm responsible and let me take some. But the reality is he didn't take no responsibility. He only said it in words. What did he do? He was the Minister for Finance. What did he do to rectify the problem? How many dollars Sheldon paid into the Treasury when he was the Minister for Finance? How many demands the Ministry of Finance made to Sheldon Scott to pay that money? Yeah?
Right.
So he's not interested in that. He's just talking. And we know the gentleman by now, 23 years as a leader. We know who we deal with. We know this guy is just a talker to make himself look good. But anyway, the public servant should be on the P's and the Q's and don't allow this gentleman in particular to call in for any information to make anybody look in any way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Kim, what have we learned from this, and what could we implement going forward so we're not in that position again?
Well, firstly, I want to commend the NDC administration. After 23 months, going on to 2 years, we have not seen a convester, a crook, a fraudster, some blue-eye man walk into Grenada and con the government of millions of dollars, like under the NNP administration, where we saw $54.2 million gone from the shrimp farm, where we saw almost 18 to 20 million disappear with the chicken farm in Victoria, where we saw with the call center 22.5 million disappeared, where we saw with the Garden Group of companies 20-something million vanish, where we saw with Livera and Mount Hartman 20-something million vanish, and we can go on and on and on. We have not seen that to date with the NDC administration. They have been very, responsible. They have done their due diligence on many fronts. That is why the economy is so buoyant. That is why the economy is so liquid. That is why the FROC, those who are responsible for oversight of our economy, have given great commendation to the NDC administration for managing the economy well. The CBI program is doing well. In fact, in 2023, We have seen $1 billion plus in revenue realized, and we realized further that the NNP is so angry that even those in the media who are aligned to them, they seem to be going after the CBI program. But so far, the NDC administration, they have managed the economy well. Grenada is moving up and up and up. Roads are being fixed. Medical stations are being renovated. Basketball courts, netball courts, just name it. Police stations. Look at the St. Paul police station right here. Look at the police station in Sautez. And we can go on and on. The night landing for the airport in Carriacou, the Morris Bishop Airport, International Airport, that is also being upgraded. They did not stop anything. They did the Molyneux project. So many things are happening in Grenada. The free school, the free hot meal program, the free tuition program. And we can go on and on and on. The economy is managed well. Things are nice in this country. Grenadians are smiling. Grenadians are, you meet them on the street and you say, boy, how you getting fat so? How you looking rosy so? Because the economy is doing well. Grenadians are now more conscious-minded about this country. They want good for this country. They want Grenada to be transformed. They want a better life, a better living standard and everything for our people. And this government is doing it. And look, if you know me well, it's not easy for me to back you, Because you understand the point? The mere fact that I'm out here openly supporting the NDC, openly supporting the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, it says a lot. It means that he's on the right track and they're doing a good job. But we, the people, must not be fooled. We must not be fooled because the folks in the diaspora, you need to be prepared for Keith Mitchell, Emlyn Pear, Dwight Hospital, and whoever will be coming out there to give you all the kind of concoctions. Because they're very good at doing such a thing. Be prepared. They're coming out there. Peter David, they're going to leave that behind. Because Peter is insignificant in the scheme of things. Poor Peter, my good partner, But I'm saying all of this to say we are on a steady path. We are progressing. We are transforming. Let us remain there. And so far, so good. Django, I want to say to you, my brother, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. Because you're looking smart.
Thank you, Kem, Django, for joining us on this conversation here. Guys, every time, I have to say this, right? We aim on every instant to have a very balanced conversation, but oftentimes we are not taken up by the other side. It would have been nice to have someone on the other side debating with Kem and debating with Django.
So Sheldon Scott.
So it doesn't look as if this is a love fest. But I'm not getting taken up on any offer that we made, and we still have the offer out there. We still continue to put the offer out there. Your thoughts and ideas need to be ventilated, and we are offering the opportunity for that to happen. Otherwise, you get Kem, you get Django, and you might get a whole set of others that might be pushing the belief and the agenda, but we do like a balanced debate. And Kem, you know how I always push for
And of course, and people know me. I support the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and the NDC. That's my position. I'm clear.
Right. Okay. So we hopefully one day we get taken up on a debate where we could debate ideas. Not that we don't love the Grenada or this person don't love Grenada, but difference of ideas is always good to be debated at times. But thank you, Kem, for joining us. Django, yo, don't make it your first and your last, eh? This is your
never.
Right.
I'm always a phone call away, man. Just shoot me a call and I'm here.
Thank you so much.
Junior, I want to make a prediction.
Yes.
I will predict that somebody on the other side will sue Django. And we may have to start a GoFundMe page to help him to pay for that. It wouldn't be Cellphone. But remember this program tonight.
Oh, boy. Hold on. Listen, yo, good mouth fall on you, boy.
You probably know something I know about, man.
Probably know something that you know.
So, you know what? Let me tell you something. There are things that occupational hazard. When you line yourself with certain things, you have to deal with the backlash. And I'm ready to do whatever.
That's how it is. That's how it is. Thank you so much, fellas. We appreciate you and your input. Guys, we must also echo the sentiments again that the views and opinion expressed on this program is that of the guests and the participant and not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Ride Along Network or its affiliate or sponsors. The content represented is for entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as professional advice. And as we say, viewers' discretion is advised. So was advised. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of our program today, guys. Yeah, listen. Listen to me. I am going to be in Grenada for Father's Day. I am going to be in Grenada for Father's Day, guys. And we are having a Father's Day ride. So, ladies, walk into the Esplanade Mall tomorrow. We have a few bikes left. And purchase a ride for your husband or your boyfriend. Or bring them along. Bring them along. Because we are going to be having a Father's Day ride. E-bike ride. And that's a great Father's Day gift. That's an excellent Father's Day gift. If you want to book right now, guys, this is the number that you call, 473-422-1011. That's the number right there. That's the number, 473-422-1011. That is the number that you call. Give the gift of ride for Father's Day. Your boyfriend, your husband, your doodoo, your lover, they will love you for it.
Experience the thrill of Riders Excursion and Tours weekly e-bike rides. Gather your family for an unforgettable ride through stunning landscapes. Book your adventure today at ridersabike.com or call 473-422-1011. Don't miss out. Let's ride.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
Yeah, guys, we got some great news. Great news, great news. Just got a call from my country manager in Grenada, and we are offering, get this, guys, get this. Now, if you had never rented a rider's e-bike, right? Get this, get this, get this. For the rest of the month of June, all the way to the end of June, you could rent a rider's e-bike, not for $30 an hour, but now for $20 an hour. And get this, the normal daily rental for an e-bike was $900 a day, right? Now, from now till the end of June, you could rent an e-bike for $75 per day. Yeah! Riders e-bike excursions and tours. Yeah, man, we had to do it. We had to do it for the month of June. Rent an e-bike, not for $99 a day, guys, but instead $75 a day. If you never walked in and rent an e-bike yet, tomorrow might be your first day. Go in tomorrow, rent an e-bike. And we also have tons of new stuff. If you're looking for a Fire Stick, if you're looking for a cell phone cases, shirts, instant printing, everything is available inside of the Esplanade Mall, right there at the Riders Kiosk. It is amazing. Don't forget, guys, book your excursion for Father's Day. Book your excursion for Father's Day. And I have a special. If you call tonight, and the number that you call tonight is this number right here, 473-422-1011. Call that number, and you're getting a discount on your Father's Day excursion ride with Ride. Call now, call now, call now. Hey, we gotta pick up the NLA, National Lotteries Authority, Grenada.
What What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians. From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up, up, up several notches. But the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
Ride in style with an easy ride loan from Ariza. Enjoy the comfort and convenience of your own vehicle for work or play. You've got places to go, and we're gonna help you get there. Easy. That's why on June 22nd, we're hosting our Easy Ride Auto Show at Ariza's Car Park, Bruce Street. Speak to our professional loan officers, car dealers, and insurance brokers in one convenient location. Learn about our special offers on electric and fuel-efficient used and new vehicles. This is your opportunity to secure your Easy Ride loan and drive away in style.
In every detail. At Hostin Funeral Service, we bring comfort to your home with our comprehensive and compassionate services. Large and modernized facility, burial, cremation, and shipping services, pre-arrangements, burial society, notary public with established relationships with funeral homes throughout the Caribbean. We ensure that when your loved one's last wish is to return home, we complete that journey with dignity and respect. Call 718-332-4350 or 917-250-0582, Hostin Funeral Service.
Yeah, guys. So don't forget, this Father's Day, we're going to be in Grenada for the Riders Excursion Father's Day ride. Want to see you guys there. It's going to be nice, nice. I am going to be riding this Father's Day as well. Want to invite all the ladies. Bring out your husband, bring out your boyfriend. First date, second date. Come on, let's ride with us. Father's Day. All right? Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program, guys. Don't forget, Ride Along Live is where everyone has a story to tell. We want to hear your story. Inbox us. Let's chat. Ride Along Live, where everyone has a story to tell. Also, guys, if you have a business and you want to advertise on Ride Along Live, please give us a call. Give us a call and stop keeping your business a secret. I also have to say, guys, we have something big that is coming. We have something big coming, right? We have something big coming. And when I tell you we have something big coming, this is going to be a game changer, all right? Keep it locked to Ride Along Live. Around the 15th or so of July, we're going to be launching something big, right? So keep it stick and stay for that. And it's not the Monday Night Mass. Well, you know we have Monday Night Mass with Amazing Colors legend. The glow stick and your t-shirt and everything ready. Legends, Amazing Colors Legends. So this is the package, the t-shirt on them. T-shirt on them, the t-shirt on them over there. So we got your package for Monday Night Mass. Guys, starting in the middle, 15th, you could start ordering your Monday Night Mass package online on Right Buy, right? So we party and we having a fine time inside of Amazing Colors. Monday Night Mass with Amazing Colors. Yeah? Nice. Nice. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. Thanks for being a part of our program today. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out. Good night.
I want you folks to play these 3 games from the NLA. Daily Pick 3 Cash Flow and Play With. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play Pick 3 Cash Flow and Play With, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sunday money
today. Located inside Ryder Excursion at the Esplanade Mall, we handle both small and large orders with speed and precision. For fast, quality t-shirt printing, call Instaprint at 473-422-1011. Get your perfect print today at Instaprint. Printing done in an instant.